like me, but for people at large, and he was very tolerant as well of people at large. And a combination of the two, this passion and this great person, made him a person who was absolutely impossible not to love. And I think it's testament to the fact why so many of us are here right now. I still feel this great loss because there's no one here, no one anymore to hear me ramble on, no one to complain about SMU's administration, about the horribleness of work, the weather, or the completely substandard food that Bangalore had to offer. For those of us who are familiar with SMU Debating Society, on whose behalf I speak, we try to recruit our freshman, Rajan, as well, while he was president, by telling them that we were all family, that it wasn't just a club, it was about family as well. We were loving, noisy, arguing, bickering, and above all, always there for you. When Rajan passed away, it hit home more than ever how very true that was. Because not just me, but I think many of us knew what it was like to lose a brother. In that spirit, there's a couple of things that I'd like to announce. I've shared also with the current administration at SMU Debating Society, that being Andrea and Urmila, a couple of ways that we would like to make sure that Rajan continues to be remembered. The first is SMU's annual debating tournament, the SMU BPIVs, and we would like to name the Best Speaker Award that Rajan won in 2007 after him as the Rajan Rishyakaran Memorial Best Speaker Award for the British Parliamentary IB tournament for the debates. Behind this award is not just a namesake, but I think behind it must go what led to it, and another brilliant quality of Rajan. Another thing that goes missed out, that it wasn't just his passion, but it was his perseverance as well. A lot of us remember Rajan as this, complaining guy who was quite lazy and, and procrastinated of his time. But a lot of us don't remember the sheer effort that he put in to the things that he loved. And the amount of hard work that went into him winning that top speaker award, the prize. I know because I put him through some severe yellings inside of my own time, and just the number of hours he put in practicing, trying harder, because he wasn't the most natural of speakers. He started out not knowing how to debate like many of us, and I think this award should be a testament to those qualities of Rajan, that he could continue and persevere and get his goals and be so thrilled and happy about them when he did. To that end, along with the trophy, I think we'd also like to offer, and I think enough alumni are behind me with this, is offering a small cash voucher so that people who do win can then go and eat at one of Rajan's favorite restaurants in Singapore. The second thing we'd like to do is set up an SMU debate forum for which sort of an adaptation on what used to be a student-faculty debate, which will be a debate moderated by the SMU Debating Society, focusing very specifically on SMU issues. Specifically of SMU issues that we wish to criticize. Without Rajan here to do it, I think it's our job to make sure that legacy goes on. And we'd like to make sure that happens at least as an annual event, happens sometime this term. For those of you who would like to join in, please feel free, who are still in SMU, to attend that forum. And don't just attend, argue, bicker, complain, and find solutions. Because Rajan wasn't just about complaining. He was constructive in his complaints, and he always knew what he wanted out of something, not just what was wrong with something. It's still difficult. There's still times we all feel lonely and we all miss Rajan incredibly. And once again, I'd like to say that that's okay. I miss you, Rajan, and I hope I keep missing you.
Wow, it is a lot of people. Hi everyone, my name is Claire, and I'm Rajan's sister. amongst many others that are here. Rajan and I got to know one another some 3 years ago. At that time, I was the student coordinator of SMU Campus Crusade for Christ. And I remember Rajan was this freshman and I was not too sure about him, and he just came to camp. I remember the day that Rajan and I started on this journey of becoming friends. He was studying in the then Crusade room. And as I watched him studying, I was pondering, okay, how should I connect with this guy, because he's new in the ministry and everything. And I don't know why, but the first question I asked was, so how's Singapore for you? And for those of you who know him, that began the barrage, like this natural, honest barrage of, opinions that I don't think I'll ever get again from anybody. He just had it all stored in him, and I just, got the switch. It was typical Rajan fashion for our friendship to start with this Singapore versus Malaysia debate, and how strongly he felt for and against Singapore, and how superior and yet not Malaysia was. And, Rajan was so precious. To be honest, Rajan, to me, was the saving grace of my impressions of Malaysia. For most of my Malaysian friends, as I get to know them, I eventually forget, that you're Malaysian, and, I don't really look at my friends as you're this or that. But Rajan made sure, I remember, I am your Malaysian friend. With his constant observations of the systems and the little eccentricities of Singapore, yeah, he made sure I remember. From his writings about Malaysian food, to the cultures, to this supposedly superior Subang food, and some, I don't know, for those of you from Subang, maybe you know this delectable wonton mee, that was supposed to prove his point once and for all, that all of us in Singapore are being cheated of palatable bliss. Rajan was such a passionate person, and he just made sure that I knew his country wasn't perfect, and he wasn't afraid to be honest, but he had passion to do something about it. And I think that was what made him so, so beautiful. But about food, I think, we probably tied at the end, one-on-one, when I introduced him to the tofu bean curd. I don't know if you guys know, near the hostel. I forget what the brand was, but I know he loved it, so I think we kind of tied there. And over time, as he and I used to write a lot, and we all know he writes a lot. And as we wrote and read each other's writings, somehow, after readings and a few rounds of conversations and even praying together, it was natural for us to be friends. Of course, there was like how we could bicker and, have these intellectual conversations, although he always won. When I think of this dear brother of mine, his name triggers so many memories. His passion, his brilliance, his wit, and amazing sense of humor, his honesty and openness, his courage to be vulnerable. He was not afraid to be real, and that's so hard to find. And above all these things that I and maybe a lot of you treasure about him, what really moved my heart most was that this brother of mine knew how to love. He knew how to love people even if it were in quiet, even if it meant just reading, understanding, and just asking after me. He didn't need to be extravagant about it, but you just knew that he cared. Okay. Rajan's passing probably has been a big shock to all of us. It was the first time I physically lost a good friend, and maybe it was for some of you here too. But his going home made me think about life, and honestly, this time has been quite a life-changing one for me as well. But in this time, I also like to encourage us. Perhaps you're feeling sad, depressed, grieved. Maybe you're even feeling guilt. Maybe you're wishing